Hi everybody, I'm back early. I made some notes yesterday of things I just want to touch on. It's like I said, this is almost for my own record. It should be pretty interesting stuff though, so maybe a lot of you guys already know this. Um, okay, well I was going to talk about um, being targeted, like being a starseed or a light worker. Once they figure out, or they know, they kind of know who's who and who's on what side, that type of thing. Depending on what level of threat you are, they will basically target you and give you attacks. Usually, and they range in psychic attacks to physical attacks, financial attacks. That was they. You got to remember they're fighting for their survival, so they're going to go to great lengths to try to stop us from revealing the truth about what's been going on and what they're up to and who they are. Um, so I was going to say something I haven't probably brought up before, but yeah, I've been basically a targeted individual for at least 6 years. And I don't talk about it that much, but in reality, yeah, they've been attacking me with DO, which is directed energy weapons. Um, what happens is I'm not exactly sure how they do this. I'm not sure, I don't want to get too much into the woo-woo factor, but I'm pretty sure it's a satellite, and there's a lot more satellites out there than people realize, and also, things going on outside our vision, put it that way. But basically, it's like a microwave. It's like a directed microwave, and I've felt it before. I've felt it a lot, but I'm just saying you can tell you're getting hit because it almost feels like a laser beam hitting you. And they started doing my elbow. Uh, they started doing my knees, my hips. They're basically trying to take my employment away. I guess that's kind of what I was getting. So anyway, they only would do that obviously at night because you're being completely still, and especially if you're in deep sleep, you're not going to realize this has been happening to you in the middle of the night. But I'd wake up with really, really sore elbows or shoulders or something at first, and I was like, well, how is that even possible? Because I know, because I work with hammers and I work physically, and I know what it's like when I, when I work my wrist too much, whatever, I get sore. But if you're not doing anything, and all of a sudden you wake up like nothing strenuous, and you wake up with sore joints, you always try to figure it out. Well, why is my knee sore today? Like, what did I do? And anyway, so I figured out uh, basically I moved my bed around in my bedroom because I realized, maybe I was kind of basically figuring out that they probably something's attacking me right there for some reason. Well, it's probably my inner voice and my guides. So I'd moved my bed, and sure enough, the attacks would stop. But because I moved it to the other side of the room, but then once they figure, obviously they know where I am. But like I said, I think it's. I know this sounds like crazy stuff, but that's why I'm just documenting it. Uh, I'm pretty sure it's. Let me put it this way: just robots. It's some sort of tech, and it's artificial intelligence that are tracking us. Because I don't think it's a physical being, you know, pointing a laser beam at me or something. It's yeah. So I can kind of tell that it's I'm being tracked. So I would move, and then I would try sleeping on the couch, and I was like, wow, I get a great night's sleep if I just sleep on the couch. So then I'd sleep on the couch a lot. But then again, it would take almost like 3 or 4 days or something, and for some reason the bots would figure out that I'm not in my bed anymore, and find out my they would trace where I am at. Sure enough, they hit my ankles or my hip or something. So it was like a joint or something. And what I mean by I can actually feel it because it would wake me up sometimes. It felt like there was like an insect or an ant walking on my ankle, and I was like, "What is going on?" I brush it off, but it's you can actually feel it. It's like almost like a laser beam going, just moving around slowly. And anyway, I can kind of go on about that. But so the whole point is, these last 6 years is I haven't really had very few good night's sleeps. So it's like, and I've come to the point where I would actually wear shielding. I would put like a metal shielding over top of my arm, and then it would, it would stop it. I would actually, okay, I wouldn't wake up with a sore arm, things like that. I mean, I can go on about that, but the whole point is what I've noticed is lately they've been picking it up again, and it's because this is their final stage, their final push. So I don't know how they're doing this all, but it's like I've had to move from couch to spare bedroom to the office. I tried to, it's like they're really on to me. They're trying to stop me, for sure. I know that. Anybody that's revealing the truth, it's all about stopping us. Okay, and then another thing I was going to talk about is, as we know, over the last, this has been going on for a long time, whatever, they've been keeping we all have, whether we realize it or not, we all have psychic abilities because we're all connected to Source or connected to God, however you want to look at it. But as our spirits are connected. But I know I've explained it to you before, how I look at my physical body as kind of like an avatar. Well, it's been shown to me and explained to me so many times. I totally get it. What we are is biological entities. We make a connection with our spirit, so we become sort of a unit. It's like it is separated into three different parts, though, because you've got your soul or your spirit, and then you've got your mind, your actual brain, that runs this biological unit, and then there's your physical body. And we all sort of pick up on that. You just learn to, make sure that they all function together really well. That's kind of the plan. And but it's been pointed out to me that, and this is something we pick up on as you grow older, and even when you're a child, is we're, in a sense, we're biological computers. And how we learn things is through repetition, as we all know, whether it's playing baseball, whether it's learning math problems, or anything, even riding a bike. It's just the more you do things, it creates these mental pathways in our biological computer. Because I'm going to remember, our brains it's biological, but it's actually meant to be electromagnetic computers that write codes and memory and things, all that stuff. So, once you get around that, you understand, okay, this is just we're really walking around in a biological computer, attached to this physical form that we can move. So in a sense, we're biological robots, when you think about it. So, as you know, we're affected by a lot of things, but one of the main things that the big pharma has capitalized on is these biological computers, our bodies, can be affected with chemicals. You can take psychedelic drugs, whether you drink alcohol or, lots of other different things. But we notice that there's like a chemical reaction in our brains and our computer that make us act either strangely or open up our minds more. Well, anyway, there's a thing that's basically in the center of our brain, like the cerebral cortex, and it's the pineal gland. And if you just study even just basic anatomy, you'll figure out kind of how the brain functions and stuff like that. Well, anyway, the pineal gland is the one that connects. The best way for me to describe this, it connects your spirit to your brain, or basically, yeah. So it's like the direct source. Well, they've realized that they don't want us to have that connection at all, and they've experimented for probably thousands of years. They know what they're doing. So they realized, well, we have to somehow try to inhibit that connection between our brain and our spirit. And one of the better ways that they've realized they can do that is with fluoride. people don't realize, but fluoride is basically calcifying your pineal gland. And guess what? That basically shuts down your connection between your spirit and your physical body. So this has been ongoing. I mean, I know about it, and I avoid it as much as I can. But that's why it's not a coincidence that they put it in our drinking water, because everything, whether you cook your food with it, a little brush your teeth, whatever, we're constantly bombarded by that. Can you imagine that over a whole lifetime? That's why a lot of people think, when someone like me is talking about stuff like this, it's like we're talking in the woo-woo, because our whole lives we've been not only lied to about, a false history, false science, things like that, but we're kept from this information that we have a connection to source, and it's our biological connection is the pineal gland. So they've tried to completely dampen that down, and they succeeded for the most part. So most people, I'm just saying, that's that's a connection that we're all going to activate again in the future. So, I mean, it's not as if I'm this crazy guy that I have telepathic messages and stuff. I'm saying we're all going to be able to do all this stuff. So it isn't just me being a crazy guy, and you got to take my word for it. I'm just saying that you're going to start getting the same connections and the same abilities, especially when we shut down their control system. So that's kind of something to look forward to, is I guess what I'm saying. So that's just my little short video for Saturday, August 7th. Okay, so have a good weekend. Stay positive. By the way, yeah, that's another way, because it's connecting our brains to our pineal gland, to our spirit. It's making these electromagnetic connections, which is connected to the ether, which is basically like free energy, which is connected to source, which controls things. Like, it's just, you'll start to realize that we've got a lot more power than, well, especially than what we've been taught or told. And you can create your own reality by connecting to that spiritual world, sort of the unseen. Anyway, I know it sounds like I'm talking crazy, but for you people that'll understand what I'm talking about, hopefully this will sort of confirm what you've been thinking. Okay, that's it for Saturday. I'll talk to you guys later this week. Okay, have a good weekend. Bye.